In this video, I'm going to show you exactly step-by-step how to install the Risk Racing lock and load strapless system in the bed of your truck or a trailer. RIP to the straps. They won't be missed. All right, let's face it, long day of single track riding or at the racetrack. You're tired, you're sweaty. The last thing you want to fuss with is trying to get your bike in the back of your truck with traditional straps. We all know that game. You're eventually going to drop your bike while you're trying to balance it. I have, and I've always wished there was a system to alleviate that whole strap mess. And there is, and it's tried and tested. It is the Risk Racing lock and load strapless system. And in my opinion, it is the best on the market for this type of setup. You're going to see other companies, not saying they're bad quality, but Bike Binderz, they're just dumping a ton of money into commercials to get in your social media feeds. I don't think it's as good a system because you still have to lean over the bike and this back and forth and get them up over your pegs and get them locked down. Whereas the lock and load system from Risk Racing, it's literally just a drive-in system, push them down, and you walk away from the bike. And that's why I picked the lock and load system, because the less fuss, the better. All right, there are 3 different models to consider when making your purchase. Understand, as far as width goes, they're all 12 to 21 inches wide. Let's start with the Lock and Load Mini Pro, which is for your smaller bikes, 50 to 110cc, up to 200 pounds. And the height up to the pegs is 8.5 to 12 inches. The second model, which is the one I'm installing today, is for 85 to 450cc bikes up to 270 pounds. And as far as the height goes, you're 12.5 to 18 inches high to the pegs. Last is your Lock and Load Pro HD, which is for your larger bikes up to 400 pounds. And as far as the peg height, 10.5 to 15.5. And something to consider, regardless of which model you choose, is the peg height. Remember that with these bikes, you can compress the suspension, bringing the pegs down so you can lock it in properly. All right, the first thing we're gonna do is just get this guy mocked up a little bit in the back of the truck. I'm gonna go ahead and slide these guys. There is a track. Slide that in there. Your red knobs go to the inside, and I will slide this one in here. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is kind of get this mocked up. Now, I am going to install 2 of these in the bed of this truck so I can get 2 dirt bikes, so take that into consideration when you're deciding spacing and things like that. But get it about where you think it's gonna go, and then we're gonna get the bike up in the back here and test it out before we decide exactly where this plate's gonna go. So here's where you wanna check a couple times and drill once. So on the back here is a release switch. I'm gonna go ahead and click that up, and then you just push it down a little bit and you can see that comes up. I'm gonna get both sides up so I can kind of get this measured up properly. All right, and so here's where you get your plate lined up basically where you want it. Something to take into account, your front wheel. Where's the front of, the cab of your pickup? And I have a cover on it, so I need to be aware of that. So there's enough space up there. Once you kind of get it where you want it, just flip the switches down here in the back, and that's gonna get it to lock down when I push down. And you can also slide it in and out, obviously. Decide exactly where you want that to come down on your peg. So that one kind of sort of there, and then I'll reach around to the other side here. And once you get this guy where you want it is when you're going to want to make some marks on here so you know exactly where this plate goes so you can get it bolted down. And you'll see on a 2-stroke, the exhaust is pretty big. So to get it to clear, you just got to push that side down. And if you really want to be extra anal like me, you can double check your measurements to make sure this is basically straight across. And then whatever I did here, I'll just mirror it on the other side. Once you're sure your plate is where it goes, you can go ahead and pull these guys off here. And we'll get our plate lined back up here with our marks. So you've got a lot of different holes here. If you're putting this into a trailer with a plywood deck, then it comes with these wood screws, and you can just use those guys. And they basically want you to put them in the number 2 slot here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 and 8. Obviously we're going through metal, and so these 4 bolts are what we're going to use. And really it's dependent on where your ridges come up here, because you want this to, obviously you want to bolt down where it's flush, not in one of these channels here. So you can just pick a hole. It looks like I got one there and there, and then it looks like I got one here and here. So those 4 are the holes that I'm going to go ahead and mark, because we're going to be drilling here in a second. And I left myself just a little bit of a gap here, just in case the holes are off just a little bit. I don't want to be up against that guy too much. The one thing you will want to do is, I basically know where this is based on the wheel wells, is go underneath and make sure that you're clear and you're not drilling into anything. And it looks like I'm going to have to drop the spare tire so I can access it. Not going to drill into it, but I'll need it to get them bolted. Obviously I've got both plates marked out because I'm doing 2. I'll get that out of the way. All right, a little bit WD-40 can help cut through this. And this is a 5/16 bit. They say 5/16 to 3/8. And the true test here will be if the bolt in the kit fits through. Looks like it does. And so the smaller of the 2 bits worked fine. And of course I'll just commence drilling the rest of the holes. Okay, got all our holes drilled. We can go ahead and feed all of our bolts down through the holes. When you get these in your hand, you realize how sturdy these are built, yet light, because they're made out of aluminum. Off the track's real easy. Throw them in the garage on the shelf when you're not using them. That's very nice. And if you appreciate this video and all the videos we put out, you can support us by purchasing the lock and load system right in the Law Abiding Biker store. Link in the description below. We are just a bootstrap company of bikers trying to help as many bikers as we can worldwide. Your support definitely helps us. If you have any questions, just hit up our contact form. We appreciate every customer, and we'll take care of you.
And remember, orders over $100 get free shipping, and if you're outside Washington State, you don't pay sales tax.
All right, so my favorite part, heading underneath the truck, not. Washer goes on each bolt, and then you've got a lock nut. All right, I'm just getting the washers on and the nuts here. So I've got these bolted down. Having a partner will be crucial. Somebody up top with a Phillips screwdriver, or we had a drill with a Phillips head on it. Somebody underneath, if you're wondering, that is a 10mm wrench or socket. So I'll grab the actual supports now. And the way you do this, the red knob always goes to the inside. These go forward. And so we can slide this one all the way over to the fender well here. Then we'll grab this one, same thing, to the inside. And we'll slide that on here. So once I get this side adjusted to my Husqvarna TE300, wherever that is, I'll go ahead, and you can just use the numbers on the side of the plates here. It's marked to kind of remember where to set them for a particular bike, so you don't have to readjust them every time you put them on the track. And obviously when you get these set where you want them, you've got the red knobs, and that locks it down. You can just do it with your fingers. That locks it down to the track, so it's not going to move. So generally how these work, there's switches in the back. They're in the up position. That keeps these free to go to the tallest position that they can. So you can push them down, but they're going to spring back up. And so to lock them down on your pegs, we flip the switches down. Now you're going to hear, when I put these down, they ratchet. And wherever you ratchet them down to, they hold. And then when you're unloading your bike, you just pop the switches in the back up, and a quick push down on each of them, just a little bit, and they'll pop back up to the tallest position. I can get that up all the way, switch down, make sure these are locked down like that. There we go. That bike is solid and is not going anywhere. And that's how quick it is. That was my first couple times ever using these things. Super simple. I'll get faster at it in time. Say goodbye to the old school straps, RIP. Again, available in the Law Abiding Biker store. Links in the description. Well,